We remember the day the stars answered, the day we learned we were not alone.
I stretch my limbs as I wake up in bed on the moon, still not quite used to the lower gravity. Another day of mining what little there is to mine here. When I heard I was going to the moon, I was ecstatic. All my life I looked up at the moon and wondered what it would be like to be there. After the aliens crashed on Earth, I wondered no longer. I joined humanity first after hearing rumors of abductions and experimentation. What comes around goes around after all. But now that I'm on the moon, I expected something more than just mining. Maybe research, building rockets, not mining. At least I'll be transferred back home once Mars gets their rigs back online. I heard a rumor that one of them got destroyed due to smugglers. It seems that, even with the alien threat, humans will still do the same things they've done for thousands of years. Before we kick off today's video, first something about today's sponsor, Infinite Galaxy. In Infinite Galaxy, you control your fleet from your own space station. Of course, you gotta build these ships yourself, and you can equip them as you think is best. Once equipped, you take your ship out on missions to complete objectives, gather resources, and build your fleet and station out even more. Now, every fleet needs a flagship, and Infinite Galaxy gives you plenty of options. Each flagship has its own strengths and its own abilities. As you play the game, you'll progress the story further and discover more and more of the galaxy, leading to some massive clashes. In your adventures, your crews will keep you company. They will strengthen your spaceport and, of course, crew your ships. If you're ready to fight players, you can do so in the PvP part of the game. There are many crises taking place with players from all over the world taking part in massive battles. If you're ever unsure about what to do, then you can talk to Laura, your personal officer, who you can customize as you see fit. Are you ready to get going? Download Infinite Galaxy now using my link in the description and you will receive an exclusive gift pack worth $60. Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome to episode 8 of Terra Invicta Humanity First. It is time to start defending Earth in a bit more proactive manner. So far, we've been extremely reactive. We've been seeing that aliens are arriving in orbit of Earth, and we have thus far been completely unable to do absolutely anything about it. I mean, Victor 13 over here is just very happily circling the Earth. It's in an orbit, it does not seem to be doing anything as of right now, but I would rather have it gone. So, with my orbital construction base complete, Everest Station, I can now start to build stuff in the orbit of space, or the orbit of Earth, that is. I have materials so I can build in the orbit of Earth as well. I have the space station that can do it. All I need is a good design. Now, I am going to be designing a ship for the absolute first time. I'm going to be doing a couple of auto designs just to see what the AI throws in. If you have any tips, by all means, post them down below, because as I mentioned, this is the first time, so you're going to probably see me make a ton of mistakes. The purpose of this particular warship is to defend Earth. It doesn't have to go to the moon, it doesn't have to do really much of anything, except orbit Earth and intercept enemy ships as they are coming into orbit, so they cannot do any orbital strikes, they cannot threaten any stations, and that they cannot harm humanity in any way. When it comes to designing ships, you have a couple of different options. You got the gunship, you got the escort, and you got the corvette. Now, each of these have a slightly different loadout, or a slightly different setup. Gunship seems to be the smallest, you only have 6 modules. You got the escort, which has double the modules for utility and firepower. And if you're not sure what these things are, you can say, or you can click on them and it says, okay, this is a hull hardpoint. Okay, so we're going to go to hull weapons. And the shape then lines up. The corvette seems to be a bit of a best of both worlds. It has a few modules, you got a hardpoint like that, but this is a nose hardpoint, and it has a hull hardpoint. So this thing has both, and that might be what I need. Again, I'm not sure. What this is a 10-inch cannon, and that means it's going to be able to put out quite a decent amount of damage, I guess. A redesigned heavy naval artillery gun suiting for mounting on the nose of many of our combat craft. It uses 1 hardpoint, it has focus fire or attack mode. It does 4.4 points of damage. I'm not sure if that's a lot or a little. If I compare it to hull weapons, however, I can see that the 30mm autocannon does a lot less, at just 0.2 points of damage. You got the 1.1 on the 6-inch cannon, or 17.5 points of damage on the Kreit missile bay. An adaptation of naval anti-ship solid fuel cruise missiles for use in space. Now, there is something to be said for using these things. There's also something to be said against using them. Because the problem that I see with these things is that they might have an issue with ECM. If the enemy has the ability to use ECM to thwart the missile solution, then it's simply going to miss. And you're going to have to go back to a station. When it comes to a gun, a nose-mounted weapon, I'm not sure if these are better or worse. So it's going to be, well, very hit or miss. Literally. You either hit with this thing or you don't. And the firing range is quite good. I mean, for a gun, it's extraordinary. Your range is 250 kilometers. Of course, I think this is for gameplay purposes, because if you fire something from a gun in space and it doesn't encounter anything, I think it just keeps going, right? It doesn't stop. So that means that this 10-inch cannon shell is just going to continue to travel until it either finds an enemy threat, an asteroid, a meteor, what have you. The moon, Mars, it could be anything. But for the game, it says, nope, you have a maximum range of 250 kilometers. That's a targeting range, that is. If you look or if you compare that to the missiles, the Kreit missile bay has a lot more range. It has 1,000 kilometers. So for intercepting things in the orbit of Earth, maybe this is a little better. I'm not sure. So I'm just going to have one of each. I'm going to have both the missile launcher and the nose gun. Then we're going to have a couple of utility modules. And we have a couple of options. We have a water heat sink. This is capable of radiating heat into space. We have a heavy water heat sink, which has a greater capacity. This is 100 gigajoules. This is 200. You also have an ISRU module, which is basically allowing you to use any raw materials to refuel the ship, which is not what I need, because I have a station and I'll be able to do that there. We have the liquid hydrogen containment. Long-term storage tanks for stable liquid hydrogen, granting an effective 10% bonus to the ship's exhaust velocity. Useful if you want to get anywhere in a hurry in an interceptor, so this is an option. We also have the magazine, feeder hardware and storage that adds an additional full ammo load for all projectile weapons with ammo counts. So this means that lasers don't benefit from a magazine. I mean, of course they don't. But we're pretty early game, it's 2027, I don't have lasers yet. And finally, ECM. Electronic countermeasures interfere with the guidance of familiar enemy missile systems. Now, the fact that this is highlighted means that if I'm not familiar with a missile, I probably cannot thwart it with ECM. So it is useful, yes, but only to a certain extent. Considering that I don't know a whole lot about the enemy craft, I'm not sure if this is a good call. I think going with a magazine is a good call because both of these have an ammo count. And then for the other one, maybe a liquid hydrogen containment system. Let's see what the auto design would pick. It would go with an ECM and a heat water sink. Oh, sorry, a water heat sink. That's interesting. That's interesting. So you would pick the heat sink to dissipate heat. Okay. And you would use the titanium array radiator. Alright. Ah, okay. Again, I don't know a whole lot about it, but here's my theory. If you're in combat, you retract your radiators, the titanium radiators, to make sure that they don't get damaged. So any heat that you generate on your ship is going to have to get dissipated using the water heat sink. If you're outside of combat, you can use this thing. And you can just start dissipating a lot more heat. But then again, in combat, retract it because damage. It's also using a saltwater battery. It's using a solid core fission reactor type 2. That's currently the best one that I have. And you use the ion drive times 6 with 44 propellant tanks, which gives me a yeah, 87.2 kps. I'm not sure what that is. kilometers per second, I think. And if you have less than 5, you're going to have trouble reaching the moon from an Earth orbit. Now this means that with this, I'm going to have way too much. Way more than what I need. So I can take off a lot of these propellant tanks, which means that my combat acceleration increases. And also the cruise acceleration, so if I just want to start intercepting other ships. And this is because these ion engines are really quite efficient. So let's go with 5. And you're using both the Kruid missile bay and the cannon. These things I'm not entirely sure about, because we also got the molybdenum pipe radiator, which has moderate chance of taking damage. But it's 222 tons per gigawatt waste. 222 tons per gigawatt waste heat. This one is 400 tons per gigawatt waste heat. So it seems to be a lot heavier. Titanium is 181, so it's quite a bit lighter. Slender titanium arrays operate at higher temperatures than aluminum for efficient disposal of waste heat. And this one, heavy, heat-resistant molybdenum fins contain metallic vapors that cool to liquid as they circulate. Okay. As you can imagine, you can spend quite a bit of time on designing your ships to the optimal layout. When it comes to armor, you got a couple of different armor locations. Let's remove these so I can see what they are. You got tail armor, you got lateral armor, so that's the armor alongside the ship, and you got nose armor. Keep in mind, these things don't broadside. It's not like they're going to turn broadside and then fire. This thing will most likely turn its nose towards the enemy, and that's why nose armor is definitely going to be a very important factor. Your lateral armor, I don't think it's going to be that important, but your tail armor is. Because if you're moving somewhere in space, you're going to also thrust in the opposite direction if you want to slow down so you can get to where you are. Well, you can sort of stop, if you will. You can ascertain the orbit that you want by slowing down. So you can definitely get shot at in the back, in the engine block. And that's why the ship is also using 4 points of tail armor. Let's see, we have different armor types. We've got steel. Probably the easiest. It takes 103 tons per nose or tail armor point, so it's heavy. Venerable and heavy steel armor plating increases our vessel's survivability in combat. Okay. Alternatively, steel is titanium. Heat and shatter resistant armor that carries a significant expense. Because this is just going to take you a bit of metal and some volatiles. This is going to take you nobles, which I do have some of. Just not that much. Then we have silicon carbide, ceramic armor made by sintering silicon and carbon powder, 71 tons per nose or tail armor point, 618 tons per lateral, so it is lighter even than than titanium. And finally, boron carbide, durable black diamond armor created from reduction of boron trioxide in a carbon atmosphere. Bonus damage to, bonus resistance to kinetic, and this has bonus damage to, or bonus resistance to chipping. So this doesn't splinter, if you will. Let's put this on the nose and the back, and then maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure if this is strictly better or not. This is a lot heavier for lateral, though. This is 618 for lateral. Yeah, we're going to put this alongside. Okay. Let's see what the game thinks this is. It's a defense bomber. Okay. Strategic range, short. Will limit propellant mass in favor of maneuverability. Preferred engagement range, long. Yes, I would agree with that. You could argue that if I want to do long range firepower, I could go for the escort, I think it is. And, whoops. Make sure that it has double missile launchers, because that's another option with the other ship layout. Again, I'm probably going to have a lot of different ship classes. I can overhaul them, I can refit them, and I'll probably make mistakes. So let's make our first and name this as the... let's name these after the patrons, shall we? So this is the USMC COG class. Okay, save the design. Now, let's go to one of our stations. That is going to be... fleet and ship construction. Ship construction. Everest Station in low Earth orbit. I want that to build one of the USMC COG class corvettes. So I'm going to add this to the queue. And it's going to take me 90 days and I will have my first ship. Hecla Station in orbit of Mars is also going to receive one of these ships, but it's currently unpowered because it simply does not have all of its power plants completed yet. That should be coming up rather soon, but for now, we're still waiting for... Oh, the space dock's not powered yet. We're still waiting till November 23rd, which is a little under a month. So let's skip ahead and get to there. As we're waiting for the spaceship to complete, we have a special opportunity on Earth. Louise has to go on the mission of his life. We have Xenoform Alpha 3 detected over here in Abidjan and Ivory Coast. So I'm going to see if I can upgrade his stats once more, but sadly not. Can I give him any further opportunity to boost his espionage ability? Maybe, if I remove this one. Yeah, unequip this one. That means I might be able to get the ASIS, but I don't have one in Australia. Ah, crap, I can't really help this guy with any further boosts to espionage, which I would really like. This one does have that boost. It's a +1 espionage, but it's 2 stars, and I don't have that much available. I only have 1 admin cap org, if you will. Gustav? No. Nope, sorry dude, you're gonna have to make do with what you have. We're gonna re-equip this one. I'm just gonna have to throw in all the offensive ops points that I can. We're going to try and assassinate Xenoform Alpha 3. 64 ops points go into the mix, giving me a 61% success chance. Still not exactly a guarantee. It's gonna have to work. Taking them down. Hope and pray that this guy is going to be successful. Sadly, he failed. Louise is unharmed, but the alien managed to escape. So now I'm going to have to wait for another opportunity to find this guy again. If at all, because you generally only get one shot at this.
Come to our side.
When it comes to research, I'm looking forward to building out Russia even more. I mean, the Eurasian Union even more, and for that I'm going to need a rival international relations. This is the first step that's going to allow the following faction projects. Eventually, the Restored Warsaw Pact. And with that, the game gets very interesting when it comes to my tastes, because I get more claims. And those claims are very, very welcome. Because if you look to the Restored Warsaw Pact, with this, I'll be able to get claims on Sofia, Bucharest, Warsaw, Berlin, Prague, Bratislava, Budapest, and Helsinki. That's a lot of claims. Further up the line is Forward Russia, which gives you claims on, well, basically the entirety of Europe, as well as Anchorage, so Alaska. This is going to be the ultimate goal, but it's going to take a while. First, we're going to have to do a rival international relations, and then we're going to go to the Restored Warsaw Pact, which is going to be a project. So, let's throw everything we have into researching the international arrival law, and let's see, or relations, and let's see how quickly we can get that done. 26th of February 2028. That's fine. Less than 3 months. Once the project then pops up, we should be able to start making even more of a mark on the world. The second time, Lewis does not fail. He has eliminated Xenoform Alpha 3 of the aliens. We have learned a great deal about the aliens from this operation and will receive a bonus to our xenology research going forward. So finally, we're actually able to kill our first alien. Well done, Lewis. Well done. Few among us would ever have believed this day would come. Not only inarguable proof of life from another world, but the successful retrieval of an intact alien body, ours to study at our leisure. Returning it to our labs has been a challenge, however. Its cellular structure began to deteriorate at an alarming rate, which we believe to be due to some sort of genetically programmed failsafe, presumably to prevent this race's enemies from learning more about them. Fortunately, we were well equipped enough to quickly transfer the corpse into cryogenic storage. by which point only its outermost extremities had succumbed to necrosis. More problematically, the pathologists tasked with initial assessment of the body quickly fell into an inexplicable stupor. The effect dissipated within a few hours and did not repeat. A full post-mortem may now begin. Excellent. So, that was satisfying. The alien walked into the ambush right on schedule and went down to rifle fire. I thought you just said you captured the guy intact. It tried to get up, so the boys broke out the heavy weapons. Long story short, it's definitely dead. Our chief pathologist has complained about the number of bullets he's going to have to pick out. We told him to stop whining. Very good. Now I can research hydrobiology when it becomes available. So we have made some progress on the larger scale of things. We finally managed to kill an alien, and this is going to be the next step in our evolution of campaign objectives. A little while later, I was checking in on Everest Station to see how construction was progressing, and I noticed it wasn't doing anything. It's because I made the wrong design. Well, not strictly the wrong design, I just made it a bit too expensive. Because the resources were simply not there, most notably volatiles. That's an issue, so I'm going to have to design the ship a bit different. Let's go with a different design. I want to go with the escort. I want to go with the double missile spammer, because I did some reading and apparently this works quite well. I've also found that if you add parts that you simply don't have yet, or don't have the resources for, such as the expensive boron carbide armor, your ship will take a lot of time to build, if it will build at all. Okay, so same modules. We're going to go with the ion engine drive, which is this one. Give me 5 of those. Again, I don't need to go very far. The most important thing is that I can just cruise around Earth. Don't mind the stats just yet, because we're still going to have to throw in a reactor. We're going to have to go with a radiator. And yeah, this is nice, but it also takes a lot of nobles. This does too. This is cheaper, the aluminum fin. I still have a lot of metals, so that's fine. When it comes to these utility modules, let's just go with 2 magazines. So I can probably get quite a few shots off of these things. And when it comes to the battery, we got the option between the salt water, which has more charge. It's going to take me volatiles, and it's going to take me water. I have plenty of water. Let's go. Okay. What is this? It's a transport? Is it really? Where's the transport capacity then? We had 4, 1, and 4, and it's just going to be your box average steel armor, because everything else is going to make the ship way too expensive. Water, check. Volatiles, check. Metals, check. Nobles, check. And the fissiles, check. So at this point, I should have everything that I need. And it's now considered a defense bomber, which is what I wanted. So with this, I should be able to start building it. I can see what it looks like, or what I want it to look like, and I think this looks like a pretty cool design. So let's have one of those, and now I should be able to build it. No. Okay, so this is the Goedendag class escort. We're going to add one here. And if I add one here, it's going to take 90 days, so that's fine. If you don't have the resources, you can tick this box, which is going to use boost and money if you don't have the resources. Fortunately on Mars I do, unfortunately on Earth I do too. So I can just start building one on Earth and one in the orbit of Mars. I'm actually going to build 2, let's say several on Earth, because I think having several of these is going to be a bit more useful. It does mean I'm going to need a lot of resources. So both Congo and Alba Base are going to have to upgrade their capacity to mine. We're going to need a settlement mining complex, which is going to take quite a bit of mission control. Let's focus on Alba Base first, because it's my primary base, if you will, and I already have the additional fission piles available here. So we're going to upgrade this. It says, cannot generate enough power to operate the module. I currently have 21 spare power, and I'm going to need a bunch more, because this thing is really hungry. It goes to 37 power from 9. So it is a big boost. Yes, I do want to start construction there, and I also want to have yet an additional fission pile, which I will build on on Mars. These things generate 10. Yeah, so we're going to need yet another one. I will also build that over there. And let's hope that this is going to generate all the resources that I'm going to need. Because by the looks of it, this is not going to come cheap. After a long time, our probe has finally arrived on Ceres. And I am very interested to see how much I can get from Ceres. We're going to need a lot of water. And the carbon crater on Ceres has a lot. The real question is, how long is it going to take me to set up a base there? Because I can get there from Earth with only 9 boost. It's really not that expensive. And if I go to... Wait... Damn it. Project Exodus beat me to it. They're already at the carbon crater. Wow. That's pretty impressive. Okay, in that case, seeing as I'm going to need a lot of volatiles and water, I think the Yoladi crater is also really quite interesting, so I'm going to found an outpost there. It's going to take me a while. It's going to take a little over a year, 436 days. And let's see, do I want another base? That's the big question. Do I want another base there? Because we have a few more options. And Venmidia Planitia also can give me quite a bit of water, as well as some other metals. What about Mars? How busy is Mars these days? We still have some slots here. They just don't have as many resources. I mean, it's not bad, but I'm looking mostly for metals and nobles. So a high noble income here would be 3.4. That one's been taken. This has been taken, this has been taken. That leaves a 1.1, a 1.7. I got the 12 here on Olympus Mons. That is the other base, that's Congo base. And Congo base is in operation, I believe. Show me Congo base. Yeah, it is mining, so it's going to take a while. It's not generating as much as I would like, so I can upgrade this thing as well. Let's start by throwing in a couple of fission piles, making sure I get enough energy going for this particular project. Build in space, and I'm not going to upgrade yet, because it's going to take me a while before it upgrades, and if it's upgrading, you basically get nothing, you get no resources, so be careful. This does mean the other positions here on Mars, not that interesting. Ceres, much more interesting. Because if Ceres has the nobles that I want, I'm going to Ceres. I don't necessarily have to build ships there. I just need to make sure that I can get the nobles. That's only 1.9. Crap. Okay, what about some of these things? It's 0 to 10 here. 0 to 5. If there's a way to sort through these things, that would be great. You'd think that there has to be a way to sort through these, because otherwise you're going to have to click on every single one, which is a bit of a hassle. Oh, what is this? The aliens have something over here on Hertha. No, not Hertha. Yeah, Hertha. They got a mining base over there. Sacred Vision. And they have an orbital space station. What is that? They have a fusion reactor farm, point defense array, layered defense array. Okay. I have no idea what half of these things do, but it looks like it's going to be a bit out of reach to get there. So where can we get more nobles? And how can I get a good overview of where to find it? I was unable to detect any further interesting asteroids, although I sent out some probes, but it's going to take about 2 years before I get results from that. But I have found another alien operative. We may attempt to target this being with missions before it goes into hiding. Now, I rather doubt that I'll be able to detain the guy for questioning, but I might be able to eliminate him. That is going to be the next goal for Mr. Leal here. I wonder if he got a bunch of experience from this. He did get some experience. Let's see if I can use that. His admin cap is still maxed out, so I think we're just going to go for more espionage. That is the best stat for him at the moment. Let's see, he's still busy assaulting an alien facility. We're going to have to wait for that. Once he's done there, we're going to see if we can take down yet another alien. Paramilitary violence. We have strong evidence that Polish paramilitaries are committing atrocities in the Riga region. The government of Poland has naturally denied any involvement, but we are obliged to respond nonetheless. I can fund my own paramilitaries, which is going to ramp up. I will commit an atrocity. Let's not. I can request peacekeeping support, or I can just crack down on them. That's an atrocity as well? How is that an atrocity? Attempt to negotiate with Poland. 50% success, 50% failure. Who is Poland controlled by? By the Protectorate. Okay, so they're not strictly my enemy. I might be able to negotiate with them. Despite the best efforts of the Eurasian Union's diplomats, Poland obstinately refused to cooperate in any way. Great. Caused a small amount of damage to the population in Riga. Interest in my nation increases and the cohesion decreases. Well, that's nice. Okay, Lewis, let's wrap this up. We got an alien to kill. What kind of guy is this? It's another Hydra. Okay. I suspect that there are multiple different types of aliens. I'm not sure yet. Let's see. Detain counselor. Yeah, you can only detain counselors. You cannot exactly detain aliens. So we're going to have to take some different steps, shall we say, to deal with that gentleman. Assassinate the Xenoform. Maximum ops. It's going to cost me 64 again, but my success chance is 81, which is really good. And I'm playing as humanity first. I cannot have these fuckers roam around the planet just like that. Alright, in the meanwhile, let's do some campaigning and make sure that Sweden is prepared to join the Union eventually. Gustav is still working on just figuring out other councillors and in the meanwhile defending my interests. But right now I don't need to do it that much. I think only Bulgaria needs another update. There. And finally, my other councillor, not sure if I've introduced her yet, but this is Eri. And I have made sure that I hired her so she has a higher investigative stat. She's essentially Lewis's attack dog, or rather scout dog. She finds the enemy councillors, and Lewis takes them down, leading to a fantastic 1-2 punch. As for ship construction, it is progressing nicely. In 24 days, we should have our first ship. Job done. Success. Another alien is down. We've learned a great deal about them, and our xenology research gets another nice boost. To the point where our xenology research is at 42% boost, so we can really research very, very quickly on that department. And we make humanity a little safer by taking out yet an additional alien. And here we are. February 24th, 2028, we've launched our first human warship. It's going to grant me a nice boost to the amount of influence that I have, and we may now defend our interests. The real question is this first ship good enough? I kind of doubt it. It's a start, I suppose. Oh, and we also have completed the international arrival relations, so I should be able to start going for... where is it? That project that's going to allow me to develop, if you will, a bit more when it comes to the Soviet Union. Oh, sorry, this is a worldwide project. That's the deal. Okay, what do I need more of? Here we go. Militarization of space, antimatter weaponry, fleet logistics, our space future, space assault doctrine. It's going to allow for fleet combatants, marine assault units. Yes, you had me at torpedoes. There we go. Okay, let's see what project I can do, because what I'm looking for is the one that allows me to get the Soviet Union, but it might still need to unlock. So in the meanwhile, let's go for hydrobiology, which is going to do another part of our progress, and I'm going to wait for that other project to come up. So we have our first ship. Let's have a look then, shall we? Researched. Oh, there it is. Finally. There she is. A lot of ships getting produced, a lot of ships getting researched, and of course we're going to get increasingly larger ships. Because I did see, when it comes to projects, I believe, that there are ships of... yeah, here we go. Frigates, monitors, destroyers. This sounds very interesting. So we're also going to start researching that. and give that 33% of our research budget. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon for the next episode.